Okay, so think about the very first thing you grabbed this morning. Was it your phone, maybe the TV remote? Chances are, whatever it was powered by this little unsung hero of our modern world, the battery. They're literally everywhere. But have you ever stopped to wonder how they actually work? Well, that's what we're going to dive into. I mean, seriously, have you ever really thought about it? Your phone, your remote, your electric car, they all run on these little power packs. But here's the thing. A battery doesn't really store electricity like a bucket holds water. Nope. It does something way, way cooler. And that's the secret right there. A battery is basically its own tiny, self-contained power plant. It's designed to turn chemical energy into electrical energy on demand whenever you need it. It's literally chemistry in a box, just waiting for you to press a button. So to really get what's going on, we kind of need to shrink ourselves down and take a peek inside. Let's look at what's happening on a microscopic level inside this little pocket-sized power plant. Now, when I say chemical reaction, don't go picturing some big, messy explosion. This is a super precise, very controlled process. And to make it all happen, you really only need 3 key players. Okay, let's get into it. We're going to break down the basic anatomy of a battery. And what's so cool is that whether we're talking about a tiny battery for a watch or a huge one for a car, these exact same 3 essential parts are always in there. First up, we've got the anode. You can think of this as the negative side, our starting line. Then you have the cathode, which is the positive side. That's our finish line. And playing the part of the referee right in the middle is this stuff called the electrolyte. Each one has a very specific and very important job to do. So the whole reason a battery works is because of this imbalance you see right here. Thanks to the materials they're made of, the anode, the negative side, naturally has this huge surplus of tiny particles called electrons. The cathode, on the other hand, is basically empty. So you've got one side that's super crowded with electrons and another side that's like a wide open field. And this is where our referee, the electrolyte, comes in. This stuff is the crucial barrier. It acts like a traffic controller that completely blocks the electrons from just rushing straight from the crowded anode to the empty cathode inside the battery. I mean, if they did that, you'd have a short circuit and the battery would be dead in an instant. The electrolyte is the gatekeeper. Okay, let's do a quick recap. We've got a battery with a negative side, the anode. That's just packed with electrons. We've got a positive side, the cathode, that really wants those electrons. And sitting in the middle, we have the electrolyte, which is like a wall that the electrons can't get through. The stage is set. All right, now for the main event. How do we turn all of this chemical tension into useful power? This is where the magic really happens. This is what I like to call the electron dance. So at the anode, a chemical reaction called oxidation kicks off. You can picture the material at the anode, like zinc in a normal AA battery, starting to break down. And as it does, it releases a massive flood of electrons. This makes that crowded anode even more crowded and really builds up the pressure to get out of there. This perfectly describes what's going on. All those electrons are negatively charged, so they're all pushing away from each other. They're like water building up behind a giant dam, desperately searching for any possible way to flow to an area with less pressure. And that area is the cathode. They've got all this pent-up energy, but where can they go? We already know they can't punch through the electrolyte in the middle, so they're stuck. That is, until we give them a path. The moment you pop that battery into a flashlight and flip the switch, you're creating an external circuit. You're literally building a highway for those electrons to travel on outside of the battery. The wire, the little light bulb, the switch, it's all part of a brand new road from the negative terminal all the way to the positive one. And that's it. That's the whole shebang. That moving stream of electrons rushing from the anode, through the flashlight's bulb, and finally arriving at the cathode, that flow is what we call electric current. It's electricity. And as those electrons flow through the bulb, they do work for us, creating light. It's just like a river turning a water wheel. So if you remember one thing, remember this. That fundamental principle, anode, cathode, electrolyte, and an outside path, that's the engine inside every single battery ever made. But that engine can be built with different materials to do all sorts of amazing things. Just look at a few of these. Those standard alkaline batteries in your TV remote, those are single use. The big, heavy battery that starts your car, that's a lead-acid battery, and it's designed to be recharged thousands of times. And the super light, super powerful batteries in our phones and electric cars are lithium-ion. They all use different chemicals to do the electron dance,
But the dance itself, it's always the same.
And here's a pretty cool fact for you. A standard car battery isn't really one big battery. It's actually 6 smaller 2-volt battery cells all connected together in a series. By linking them up like that, their voltages add together to create the 12 volts your car needs to get started. Pretty clever, right? So, let's wrap this all up. Batteries are little chemical power plants. They have a negative anode, a positive cathode, and an electrolyte gatekeeper. A chemical reaction builds up pressure by making way too many electrons at the anode, and when we connect a device, we open the floodgates, letting those electrons flow and create the electricity that powers our lives. You know, from the tiniest hearing aid all the way to the rockets we're launching into space, these simple little chemical devices have totally reshaped our world. So I'll leave you with this question. What's the one battery-powered device that you absolutely could not live without? Drop it in the comments below. Thanks for watching.